There's always a risk of thinking just because top riders are paid to use a certain tyre they must be good. But the Goldentyres are the standard tyre for almost all the top extreme enduro riders, whether they're sponsored or not. And on the quiet, some riders are even using them, though sponsored by other manufacturers. I'd already used a GT216AA front on the old KTM 250 with great results, so took a punt on what is called the fat or fatty version of the Goldentyre front. It's higher and wider, and you can tell just by looking at it on the bike. It's been getting used a lot in the extreme enduro events, but has been getting good reviews for everyday dirt riding as well. The bigger footprint and grip sounded great. My main concern was whether it would slow down the steering of the Beta too much, as unlike the KTM it doesn't have a twitchy front end, but feels nicely planted already. First impressions, it didn't affect the steering adversely at all. If anything, the Beta just simply felt a bit more planted, a bit more stable in a straight line at speed. At low speed, the same. It doesn't seem to need any extra effort to steer, but that big footprint makes for great stability, and the Beta's even easier to balance at a standstill if needed. The traction? Brilliant. The stock Goldentyre front was a grippy little son of a bitch, and this is just more of the same. The fat front tyre has a good stiff sidewall, so it can be easily run at 0 psi with the tubeless system, or up to 4 psi for hitting hard edges at speed if needed. While the high profile of the fatty looks a bit weird on the bike, it's great for soaking up those hard hits. It does feel as though you've got an extra inch of front fork travel and a bit of extra plushness over rocky terrain or landing from jumps. Sweet. As with the standard GT216AA front, traction great in all conditions: mud, dirt, wet rocks, off camber, loose rocks, downhills, grass. It opens up new possibilities for diving into corners under brakes. The front tyre flattens out, grips like mad, and still haven't found the new braking limit as yet. Riding in soft sand? Awesome. It just stays on top of the sand at ridiculously slow speeds. A big thumbs up in all respects. For anyone who feels their bike is skitterish in the front end, I'd strongly recommend trying this tyre before looking at options like steering dampers. I especially think Kato 2-stroke riders would love this tyre. The negatives? If you're obsessed about weight, it is a bit heavier than a standard tyre, although if you've got that twitchy front end, the extra rolling mass should be a plus. I suspect on any bikes where the steering is already close to being a bit slow, this tyre could make your bike less inclined to drop into corners. I can't find any reports on this, but logic suggests this would be the case for some heavier 4-stroke dirt bikes. As mentioned, it's brilliant for sand riding, it just stays on top instead of digging in. But this might mean it's less likely to carve in if you do a lot of aggressive cornering in soft sand. I can't confirm this, I can't ride like that, but might be a possible issue. As mentioned, it takes a fair bit of testing to find the new boundaries of all that extra grip and traction. But a possible downside is that the tyre seems to let go a bit faster when it does. Not in an arse-puckering way, but just a bit less warning than the average tyre. Finally, the cost. Goldentyres cost more than some of the very common brands, so the budget conscious will want to weigh that up. But if this has the same wear characteristics as my original GT216AA, I figured this tyre lasts so long it probably won't be more expensive in the long run.